YouTube? It's Taylor. Welcome to episode number 9 of the Bachelorette breakdown. If you guys have not seen the previous episodes leading up to this one, I will make sure to link all those down below. Make sure to go watch those before you continue on watching this episode so you're all caught up. But anyway guys, let's jump into the video. So we have a little bit of a change up in the scenery today. My camera was about to die and I really needed to film this. Also, sorry about this being late. Again, I've been working kind of hard to find a time to film episodes like this. But yeah, so guys, if you don't remember, last week's episode left off with the cliffhanger of finding out who JoJo was gonna send home. Now, with the little hope that I had, I was really hoping that, you know, something was gonna happen where Luke was gonna be kept safe. Because, you know, JoJo kind of said that she was thinking she was gonna have to part ways with Luke, and then Luke went and talked to her and let her know that, like, I love you. So we go off to the rose ceremony. Jordan gets the rose, Robbie gets the rose, and then it's kind of left down to Chase and Luke. And I was like, well, geez, this could honestly go either way. Like, could what Luke just said helped or not? And she was just gonna pick Chase, but then I was like, Chase, I don't know, I wasn't like impressed by his home visit. Nope, she kept Chase. Honestly, I was so pissed. It was unbelievable. Like, JoJo, do you not realize how great of a guy you just sent home? Like, and the thing that I didn't even understand too is then she's like, I want to walk you out, and then they walked out and she was like all upset. She's like, I don't want you to leave yet. I'm like, then why are you sending him home? And then she was like, I hope this isn't a mistake. And I'm like, woman, you just sent Luke home. You made the biggest mistake ever in this whole entire series. Like, are you serious right now? Oh, I was so pissed. It was not even like, it was so bad. I was screaming at my television. And the thing I felt so bad about was Luke was in legit, like, utter shock. Like, he could not believe that he was getting sent home. And he was like, I was ready for the future with you. I saw the future. And then he was like, I was beginning to fall in love with her, but I never got the time to actually love her. And I was like, JoJo, you screwed up so big, so incredibly big, so big. But anyway, after Taylor had her little tantrum and was screaming at the television, the episode continued on. If you guys remember, the rose ceremony took place at kind of like an airport hangar, so you could kind of make assumptions that they were going to be going somewhere. We then found out this episode they were going to be going to Thailand. Also, because we are down to now 3 guys, it is time for the fantasy suites. But Luke's not going to be a fantasy suite because JoJo sent him home because she's stupid. So Robbie was the first person to go on their date slash fantasy suite retreat. That rhymed. With JoJo. So the two of them meet up and they're walking downtown and just kind of exploring Thailand, and they're trying weird, different cuisines. And then they go and have a Thai massage and they're just talking, and I was like, you know what? Now that Luke's gone, I think I'm cool with maybe Robbie. Let's be real, anybody could win and I'd be fine as long as it's not Jordan. To be honest, that was kind of all that happened with Robbie and JoJo's date. Nothing too crazy happened. They were just kind of talking and stuff, and they went on to then their nighttime date. So on their nighttime date, Robbie hands JoJo this letter that supposedly his dad wrote to him about, like, oh, I saw how in love you were right when you walked in and blah 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 blah. And he gave it to JoJo for JoJo to keep, and I was like, okay, I mean, I guess that's kind of sweet. I don't see the point to it, but sure. After that was basically it. Nothing crazy went down. JoJo then handed Robbie the fantasy suite card. Obviously, Robbie said yes, because what idiot is not going to take the fantasy suite card and be like, nah, I'm going to take my own room, not going to stay with you for the night. So they're in the fantasy suite doing what they do in a fantasy suite, and, you know, JoJo's talking and, like, the little interview section, not with Robbie, but she's like, I'm totally falling for him, I'm falling in love with him. I'm like, yes, yes, JoJo, fall for him, don't fall for Jordan. Fall for any of these guys, but not Jordan. Please, please don't fall for Jordan. And then, you know, Robbie goes out and puts the little thing on the door, so you know what's gonna be happening that night. So then we come back to the morning time. JoJo and Robbie have just woken up. there's a lot of uneaten food on the bed that probably will go uneaten because nobody, I guess, eats on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor. So then JoJo has to then leave, obviously, and she kind of says then through another interview thing that she really is kind of in love with Robbie, but doesn't want to say it because obviously because she has 2 more dates this week, and she does not want to make the same mistake that Ben did by telling 2 girls at the same time that he loves them. So she's like actually using her brain. So that was the end of Robbie's date, and the next date was then Jordan's date. JoJo has said multiple times now the last couple weeks that she doesn't know for sure if she can see Jordan as like a forever kind of guy. She says that she doesn't feel that he'll want like a forever relationship. He's more of just like, oh, we're gonna date for a couple months and that's about it. And I agree with her. There's just something really off about the dude. So we find out that Jordan and JoJo will be going on like this little hike around Thailand. They started climbing up to somewhere, I don't know, JoJo wouldn't say where, and then they came to this cave that they were gonna go into, and it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of creepy. And I was like, hey, let's send Jordan in, because you know, if there's like a bear or like a mountain lion or some scary vicious animal, let him get mauled and then we don't have to deal with him anymore. So then we also find out that inside the cave it's like this temple, this sacred temple of some sort. It's a very modest temple. JoJo had to put on a jacket so that her shoulders were covered up, and then there was technically not allowed to be any like kissing, which was good because I feel like that's all Jordan and JoJo ever do. Like I feel they just have like, they don't have a good relationship. It's all just based off of like, I want to make out with your face. That's it. The whole makeouts, all that stuff. There's no like, ooh, words, feelings. It's all just like, let me suck your face. And I also found it super funny that like they were in the temple and JoJo half the time was like, Jordan, don't kiss me. And I was like, yes. After their little hike and adventuring the cave and seeing the temple, it is time for Jordan's nighttime part of the date. Again, JoJo brought up her feelings about how she feels that Jordan is not a forever kind of person. She said that, you know, she's kind of afraid that maybe in a few months, if she does pick him, he'll just kind of like be done with it. And she doesn't feel that he's basically ready to be engaged and ready for this like full-time forever relationship. And the thing that bothers me about this is like, she's had this now, this feeling for the past like 2 or 3 weeks. But yet she sent all these other guys home that like she doesn't have that fear with. Like that, I honestly, that makes no sense in my brain. If you fear that you don't think this guy is forever, why the heck is he still here? Like why? You had Luke. Luke wanted forever. He told you he wanted forever. Why the heck did you send him home? So I'm sorry, I'm just really salty that she sent Luke home because Luke was an A+ guy. Let's be real. And then she's like, Jordan, where do you see yourself in like a year? To kind of like see like, does he say he sees me in a year? Does he say like we're getting married in a year or something like that? And he's just like, well, that's kind of a hard question to answer. And I'm like, no, it really isn't, Jordan. Use your brain, make something up. Like really? It's not that hard. You don't have a plan like, oh, in the next year. I literally have a plan that's probably like 3 years later what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I'm only 20. What are you, like 26? Sorry, you're an ex-football player. That was like your only idea. Now you have nothing else to do and you're an unemployed, stupid person. And you can't do anything because all you ever wanted to do was play football. Oh, I hate Jordan so much. Of course, because, you know, Jordan has like some weird spell of some sort on JoJo. He said some just great words that she just fell in love with, and of course he got the fantasy suite card because let's be real, were we ever really surprised that he wasn't going to get the fantasy suite card? Of course he said yes, and they went back to their fantasy suite. They, you know, they go back to the fantasy suite, the door closes, and you can just kind of imagine what's gonna be happening in that room in the next like few minutes. They wake up the next morning and I'm just like, okay, let's leave. Shoo, shoo, shoo. We don't need to be with this guy anymore. So JoJo finally leaves and we don't have to deal with Jordan anymore because can't stand him. I really can't. But anyway, we move on to Chase's date, and Chase decides to, you know, roll up to meet JoJo on a scooter, and I'm like, bro, you came in on a scooter. You might as well just get back on that scooter and leave. There really isn't anything very hot about a guy coming in on a scooter. I'm sorry, that was just a bad choice, Chase. Bad choice. Okay, I have to be honest, Chase and JoJo are really cute. Like, as the episode went on, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is my new guy. Like, now that Luke's gone, maybe this is my new guy. Because they were like walking around the streets, and just the two of them together were so cute. And they're just like so goofy together, and it's just such a cute relationship. It's just like goals. Before the nighttime date, there was something that did happen. You know, Chase and JoJo were both getting ready for their dates in obviously their separate rooms because they don't all stay in the same room. And there was a knock on the door, and I was like, well, who is that gonna be? Is it like Chris Harrison just coming to pop in? Because honestly, we haven't seen him really the entire show. No, it was Robbie. And Robbie came over and he's like, I just wanted to say hi and that I missed you and I've been thinking about you. And I'm like, oh, Robbie, you're so adorable. JoJo, how about you marry him and make it up to me because you kicked Luke off. So pick Robbie or Chase, just not Jordan. So anyway, Chase's nighttime date has now started, and they're kind of talking and some things kind of seem off. Not much so Chase, but JoJo, like, I don't know. She keeps making this face, and it's a face that she's made every time she's sent a guy home during one of the dates, and I don't know, it was just something off about it, and I just didn't feel good about it. I was like, I think he's gonna get sent home. So then I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna do it, oh my gosh. But then she handed him the fantasy suite card, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was just like seeing stuff, and okay, maybe I was just losing it. So anyway, obviously Chase says yes, that they will go back to the fantasy suite, and so they're sitting there and they're talking, and Chase is like, you know what? I'm really falling for her, and I think it's time that I tell her I love her. So he's talking to her, and he like tells her that he loves her, and JoJo makes the face that I just told you about, and she's like, I need to go for a walk, and I was like, no. She is not going to send him home in the fantasy suite. I know I've only been watching this now for a couple seasons, but I've never heard of this actually happening where she sends someone home while they're at the fantasy suite. So JoJo basically said that she didn't feel the way that she thought she would feel when he said he loved her, and she's like, I don't know if I feel honestly the same way. Like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like how I felt like it was gonna feel. And she told Chase this, and Chase was pissed, let me tell you. Like, he was so pissed. You know, Chase starts to leave, JoJo starts crying again, and I'm like, woman, stop crying. Like, she keeps saying, she's like, this is so hard, I feel like I'm making a mistake, and I'm like, because you're not sending Jordan home. That is the mistake. That's why everything feels like a mistake. Because you're keeping a guy that you have a fear of, that you think he's not gonna want to stay with you forever, but you're keeping him and sending all these guys away that have said, oh, I've dreamed about like marrying you. I feel like we have a future together. I see a future with us. I love you. Nothing. Nothing. Like, JoJo, I don't understand how your brain works. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So you think the episode would end that way? No, there's a rose ceremony, which I don't get, because now that you've sent Chase home, there's only 2 left. So it's not like you're gonna pick the winner tonight, because there's still 1 more week left. So she says that they're gonna have a rose ceremony just to like let Robbie and Jordan know, because obviously I guess they don't know that Chase has been sent home. So they get there, and they're having the rose ceremony, and JoJo's talking, and then wham, bam, Chase shows up. And at that time, JoJo had already told Robbie and Jordan that she had sent Chase home, and then Chase popped up, and I was just like, oh no, what's gonna happen? But I mean, Chase comes and he's like, JoJo, can I talk to you for a minute? But then he goes on to say, he's like, I'm really sorry about how everything ended that night. I was really upset. I hope you understand. I just wanted to like leave things off on good terms with you. And I think that was kind of sweet, and I think the way that he handled it was like a great way to handle it, because I think he didn't really handle it that well at the fantasy suite. I mean, I probably wouldn't either after saying I love you and then she's gonna send you home. So I think it was awesome that he was able to like end things that way. So then we go back to Jordan and Robbie for the rose ceremony, and I'm like, wow, 2 roses, 2 guys. I wonder who's gonna get the rose. Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. What's gonna happen? Of course Robbie and Jordan are gonna get a rose. The rose ceremony was stupid. Like, why did you need to have that? It was just pointless. You could have been just called them up on the phone and be like, yo, send Chase home. No rose ceremony, you two are safe, you're the finalists, whoop-de-doo-de-doo. So guys, that is it for this week's episode of the Bachelorette breakdown. But obviously, like I said, next week you find out who wins the Bachelorette. Obviously, I will be recording a live reaction to that episode, obviously because it is the last episode of the Bachelorette, and it will be our last episode of this series of the Bachelorette breakdown. But like I said, if you've been enjoying this series and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not yet subscribed, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I'm currently working on my goal of 500 subscribers by the time my channel turns 2. Also guys, it is your final time to leave the comment down below of who you think will be winning the Bachelorette this season. Obviously, like I've said in the last couple videos, PRESSPLAY Milwaukee is coming up very soon. It's in about, 3 weeks maybe? Is that it? Like I said, I'm going to be there August 13th. Make sure to come say hi to me. I will be vlogging. It's gonna be so much fun. I am so excited for PRESSPLAY Milwaukee. It is so, like, I just can't control how excited I am about it. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Bachelorette breakdown. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in this amazing world. Remember to always keep doing you, and I will see you all next Tuesday.